Admiral John Carter looked out the large window at Space Station Freedom. The sleek alien ships were leaving Earth's orbit. Their strange shapes glowed against the blackness of space as they moved away. 5 years of talks with the Galactic Council had just ended. Earth had said no to joining them. Carter rubbed his tired eyes. He was a tall man with gray hair at his temples. His blue uniform showed many medals from his years of service. The last meeting had been hard. The aliens from the Council, especially the green-skinned Viridians, had been rude as usual. "You humans are simply not ready," the Viridian ambassador had said in that high, whistling voice they all had. "Perhaps in another 100 years, you might be worthy of junior membership." Carter had simply stood up and ended the meeting. "Earth respectfully withdraws from all negotiations," he had said. The shocked faces of the aliens almost made the 5 years of frustration worth it. Now he watched as the main Viridian ship activated its engines. A blue light surrounded it, and then it vanished into hyperspace. The others followed one by one. "Sir, they've all gone," said Lieutenant Kelly Brown from her station at the monitoring screens. She was young but smart, with short brown hair and quick eyes that missed nothing. "Good," Carter said. "Send the signal to all stations. Code phrase: Independence." Kelly pressed a series of buttons. "Signal sent, Admiral." Carter nodded and walked to the large table in the center of the room. He pressed a button, and a 3D map of the galaxy appeared above the table. Tiny dots of light showed the positions of all known planets in the Galactic Council. "Begin Operation Independence," he said to the room of officers who had now gathered around the table. "Phase 1 starts now." Captain Sam Miller stepped forward. He was Carter's second-in-command, a solid man with a serious face. "All ships are in position, Admiral. Just waiting for your final order." Carter looked around at the faces of the men and women in the room. For 5 years, they had smiled and nodded at the Council representatives. They had acted interested in joining. They had seemed impressed by the alien technology. But all that time, they had been watching, learning, studying. "The Council thinks we're just primitive humans," Carter said. "They think we want their approval. They think we need them." He smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "Let's show them how wrong they are." He pressed another button on the table. A secure line opened to the President of Earth. "Madam President, the Council ships have left our system. We're ready to begin." The President's face appeared on the screen. "Are you certain this is the right move, John? Once we start this, there's no going back." Carter nodded firmly. "The Council has treated us like children for 5 years. They never intended to let us join as equals. You've seen the reports. They just wanted our resources and another planet to control." The President was quiet for a moment, then she nodded. "Proceed with the operation, Admiral." Carter ended the call and looked at his team. "Send word to all Earth ships. Operation Independence is a go." Around the room, officers began sending messages to Earth ships that had been hiding near key Council worlds. Ships that the Council knew nothing about. Ships with technology the humans had developed by studying the Council's own systems and improving them. "How long until the Council realizes what we're doing?" Kelly asked. Miller checked his watch. "I'd say about 12 hours before the panic begins." Carter looked back at the stars outside the window. "The Council has existed for 10,000 years. In all that time, they've looked down on younger species. They think they know everything." He smiled again. "But they've never met humans before." The team returned to their stations. Across the galaxy, Earth ships began to move. The Council had ended talks thinking Earth had failed. They would soon learn that humans were just getting started. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council on Galactus Prime was filled with light. Tall windows showed the 3 suns of the system rising over the capital city. Inside, over 200 alien representatives sat in curved rows. They represented species from across the galaxy. Ambassador Zorn of the Viridians stood at the speaking platform. His green skin reflected the light as he raised all four of his arms for silence. "Fellow council members," he said in the official language of the council, "I bring news from Earth. The humans have ended all talks to join us." At first, there was silence. Then several aliens began to laugh. The Zentari delegation, with their gray skin and large eyes, seemed especially amused. "This is why primitive species should wait until they are ready," said Chief Zentari diplomat Klex. "They do not understand what they are refusing." More laughter filled the room. The council had existed for 10,000 years. They did not worry about one small planet that said no. Ambassador Zorn waited for the noise to die down. "There is more," he said. The humans seemed pleased to end the talks, almost as if they had planned it. Before anyone could respond, a young Zentari aide rushed into the hall. This was unusual. No one interrupted council meetings. "Supreme Chancellor," the aide said, bowing to the old Viridian who led the council, "we have reports coming in from across council space. Human ships have appeared at 12 different strategic locations." The laughter stopped. The Supreme Chancellor stood up. "What do you mean, human ships? Their technology is not advanced enough for such travel." The aide looked nervous. "These ships do not match any we have seen from Earth before. They are different, more advanced." Now the room grew noisy with worried voices. Ambassador Zorn looked confused. "That is impossible," he said. "We have monitored all Earth ship development. They have nothing that cold." The aide interrupted him. "There is more, sir. The humans have sent what they call trade representatives to 16 of our member worlds." "So?" asked Klex. "They cannot trade without council approval." "That's just it," said the aide. "They are not asking for approval. They are setting up direct trade with those worlds, ignoring all council rules and taxes." Now real panic began to spread through the hall. The council controlled all trade between worlds. It was how they kept power. If humans were trading directly with member planets, "Show us the locations," ordered the Supreme Chancellor. A large map of council space appeared above the platform. Red dots showed where human ships had been seen. They were at all the most important trade points. The dots formed a pattern that any military leader would recognize. Earth had taken control of the main travel routes. "How did they get there so fast?" asked a blue-skinned delegate from the back. No one had an answer. "Get me the human ambassador," said the Supreme Chancellor. "Sir, all human representatives left council space 6 hours ago," replied the aide. "On Proxima Centauri IV, a planet that had been under council rule for centuries, Specialist Alice Winters looked at the new Earth trading post with pride. It had taken her team just 4 hours to set up the building. The local aliens, who looked like tall blue bears, watched with interest. "We offer direct trade," Alice told their leader. "No council taxes, no council delays, just fair prices for your goods and Earth products at good prices for your people." The alien leader looked nervous. "The council does not allow this." Alice smiled. "The council isn't here. We are." Her team was already unloading boxes of Earth medicine. It was much better than what the council provided, and half the price. The alien leader's eyes went to the medicine, then back to Alice. "And if the council objects?" From orbit, the Earth ship Northern Star sent down a message. "Specialist Winters, we've detected council ships entering the system. They'll be here in 20 minutes. Alice's smile grew wider. "Let them come," she said to her team. Then to the alien leader, "Watch what happens next. Then decide who you want to trade with." In the Galactic Council Hall, the panic was growing by the minute as more reports came in. Human ships, human traders, human technology that should not exist. "How did we not see this coming?" asked the Supreme Chancellor. Ambassador Zorn had no answer. For 5 years, the humans had smiled and nodded, and seemed so eager to please. No one had imagined they were planning something like this. General Thrix of the Zentari Defense Force stared at the screen in shock. The human ship had just done something impossible. Play it again, he ordered. The officer replayed the recording. The Earth ship EDF Relentless was being chased by 3 Council patrol ships near the Orion sector. Then suddenly, the human ship seemed to flicker. In the next moment, it was 5,000 miles away without using hyperspace. "What did we just see?" asked General Thrix. "We don't know, sir," said the officer. "It's not like any drive system we've ever seen." General Thrix was worried now. For 5 years, the Council had watched humans build ships that were simple copies of older Council designs. Nothing special, nothing new. The Council had laughed at human efforts. But this was different. This was new. "Where did they get this technology?" he asked. On the bridge of the EDF Relentless, Captain Steve Rogers smiled as they jumped away from the Council ships again. His crew worked smoothly at their stations. They had trained for this moment for years. "They're confused," said his second officer, Jack Simmons. "They've never seen a quantum slip drive before." "Of course not," Rogers said. "We invented it, based on their tech, but better." For 5 years, Earth had shown the Council only what they wanted the Council to see. Old ships, simple designs. Meanwhile, the best minds on Earth had been studying Council technology and finding ways to improve it. The quantum slip drive was just one example. By combining Council hyperspace tech with Earth's quantum physics, humans had created something new. Something that let them move in ways the Council couldn't track or follow. "Sir, they're trying to follow us again," reported Officer Simmons. Rogers nodded. "Let them try. It's time for Phase 2. Take us to the jump point." The Relentless flickered again, moving instantly to a point in space near a small moon. This was one of 12 special locations that Earth ships had quietly reached over the past few days. "Deploy the beacon," ordered Rogers. From the ship, a small device launched into space. It began to glow with a blue light. All across Council space, 11 other Earth ships were doing the same thing. Together, the 12 beacons would create a new network that only Earth ships could use to travel. Back on Galactus Prime, in a large room filled with worried military officers, General Thrix was giving bad news to the Supreme Chancellor. "The humans have tech we've never seen," he said. "They can move their ships in ways we can't follow. And now they're setting up some kind of network across our space." The Supreme Chancellor looked pale. "How is this possible? Their technology was basic when we met them 5 years ago." "I think," General Thrix said slowly, "they were showing us what they wanted us to see." In a secret lab on Earth, Dr. Linda Morrison watched as her team tested their greatest achievement. The shield dome glowed softly around the test area. "Fire the Council weapon," she ordered. A captured Council energy cannon fired at the shield. The blast hit the dome and spread out like water, doing no damage. "Shield holding at 98% capacity," reported a young scientist. "It worked, Dr. Morrison." Linda smiled. She had spent 3 years studying the Council weapons, learning how they worked, finding their weakness. Now she had created a shield that made those weapons nearly useless. "Begin production immediately," she said. "Every Earth ship needs these shields as soon as possible." Her assistant nodded. "The Council won't expect this." "The Council doesn't expect a lot of things," Linda said. "That's their problem. They think they know everything, so they stopped learning. We never stop learning." On Galactus Prime, the Council's military leaders were now in full panic. Reports kept coming in from across their territory. Human ships that couldn't be caught. Human traders offering better deals than the Council. And now, strangest of all, human entertainment broadcasts that were reaching Council worlds directly, bypassing the Council's strict media controls. "They're attacking us in every way except with weapons," said General Thrix. "Why?" asked the Supreme Chancellor. "Why did they wait 5 years, then do all this at once?" An aide entered the room with a message. "Sir, we've intercepted a transmission between Earth ships. We think it explains their plan." The message was simple. Phase 1 complete. The Council's advantages of technology trade, and communication are neutralized. Begin Phase 2. Show them what humanity really is. The Supreme Chancellor read the message twice. Then he looked up at his military leaders. "What," he asked quietly, "is Phase 2? The Council Economics Building on Galactus Prime was normally a quiet place. Today, it was in chaos. Analysts rushed between screens, shouting numbers and waving reports. "It's happening on every trade world," said Chief Economist Vel, a short purple alien with 3 eyes. "The humans are offering direct trade deals. No council fees, no waiting periods, just simple, fair exchanges." The other economists looked worried. For thousands of years, the council had controlled all trade between worlds. They set the prices. They collected the taxes. They decided what could be sold and where. Now humans were changing all that. On the trading world of Boros, William Chase smiled at the lizard-like alien across the table. Will was Earth's lead trade negotiator. He had spent 5 years studying council trade laws and finding all their weaknesses. "So," Will said, "we offer your world direct access to Earth medicines. They work better than council medicines and cost half as much. In exchange, we want to buy your world's famous blue crystals." The alien, Governor Sith, looked nervous. "The council forbids direct trade." Will nodded. "Yes, they do. They want to control everything. They take 60% of your profits in taxes. We would take none." "None?" asked Sith, surprised. "None," confirmed Will. "We believe in free trade between equals." Governor Sith thought for a moment. The council had ruled his world for centuries. They took most of the profits and gave little in return. These humans offered something different. "If the council finds out," he began. Will smiled. "They already know. They can't stop us. We have ships protecting this world now." As if to prove his point, an alert sounded. A view screen on the wall showed 3 council warships entering the system. Governor Sith looked afraid. "They've come to stop us," he said. Will didn't seem worried. "Watch." On the screen, 2 human ships appeared suddenly near the council vessels. They were smaller but moved in ways the council ships couldn't match. The Earth ships activated their new shield systems, glowing with a soft blue light. The council ships fired their weapons. The energy blasts hit the shields and spread out harmlessly. Then the Earth ships did something strange. They sent out a pulse of energy that washed over the council vessels. The council ships' lights flickered, then went out. They floated in space, disabled but not destroyed. "We don't want to hurt them," Will explained. "Just show them they can't bully us, or you, anymore." Governor Sith looked at Will with new respect. "I believe we can make a deal," he said. Back on Galactus Prime, the council chamber was in an uproar. Representatives from 3 member worlds had just announced they were considering leaving the council. They had been offered better deals by the humans. "This is unacceptable," shouted the Supreme Chancellor. "The council has stood for 10,000 years. No species can be allowed to disrupt our order this way." But the faces around him showed doubt, not agreement. The council had maintained control through 3 things: superior technology, control of trade, and military might. The humans had just challenged all 3 at once. "The humans must be stopped," the Chancellor continued. "We will send our main fleet to Earth. We will show them the full power of the council." A young aide rushed into the chamber with a message. "Sir, we've discovered a human agent on Galactus Prime. She's been captured." The Chancellor smiled for the first time that day. "Bring this spy to me. Let's see what the humans are planning next." The guards brought in a human woman. She wore a simple uniform with the Earth Defense Force symbol. Her hands were bound, but she didn't look afraid. "Lieutenant Nancy Foster," she said before anyone could ask. "Earth Intelligence." The Chancellor leaned forward. "You've been spying on the council. That is a serious crime." Nancy smiled. "I've been watching. There's a difference." "Tell us what Earth is planning," demanded the Chancellor. "Why should I?" asked Nancy. "You'll find out soon enough." The Chancellor was about to respond when another aide burst into the room. "Sir, we're receiving reports from across Council space. 3 more member worlds have announced they're leaving the Council to form direct alliances with Earth." The Chancellor turned back to Nancy. "What have you done?" "We didn't do anything," she said calmly. "You did this to yourselves. For thousands of years, you've treated other species like they're beneath you. You take their resources, control their trade, and give little in return. We're just offering them a choice." The Chancellor looked around at the worried faces of the Council members. For the first time in his long life, he felt something he had never expected to feel: fear. Nancy leaned forward. "And Phase 2 has only just begun," she said quietly. On her wrist communicator, hidden under her sleeve, a small light blinked green. The transmission was complete. Everything the Council had said, every plan they had made, was now being sent back to Earth. The humans had been planning this for 5 years, and they were just getting started. The Council Media Control Center was in chaos. For thousands of years, they had controlled what information reached the citizens of Council worlds. Now their screens showed something new: human broadcasts reaching every planet in Council space. "We can't block them," said Chief Controller Draz, a tall blue alien. "They're using some kind of signal we can't jam or trace." On the main screen, a human man stood in front of a classroom. He was talking about Earth history, about how humans had fought for freedom many times. The Council had never allowed such ideas to spread before. "This is Professor George Bennett from Earth," said Draz. "His talks about human history and rights have become the most watched content across 7 sectors." The Supreme Chancellor watched with growing anger. "Find a way to stop these broadcasts," he ordered. "We've tried," said Draz. "But the humans have created some new communication system. Our technology can't touch it." On a small moon base in the Antares system, engineer Daniel White made final adjustments to his quantum relay. It was his invention, a communication system that used quantum entanglement to send signals that couldn't be blocked or traced. "All relays are working," reported his assistant, Ben Green. "The broadcasts are reaching every Council world." Daniel smiled. For 3 years, he had worked on this technology in secret. The Council thought their communication systems were the best in the galaxy. They were wrong. "What about the special broadcast?" Daniel asked. Ben checked his screen. "Ready to go, just awaiting final approval from Earth Command." The special broadcast was the most important part of Phase 2. It would show Council citizens what life on Earth was really like: the freedom, the art, the music, the choices that humans took for granted. On Council worlds, citizens had few rights. The Council decided what they could do, what work they could perform, even what they could think. Humans offered something different: freedom to choose. On Galactus Prime, in the main Council hall, an emergency meeting was underway. The representatives from member worlds were arguing loudly. "The humans offer us better trade terms," said one. "Their medicine has cured diseases our doctors couldn't touch," said another. "Their music, their stories, they speak of freedom in ways we've never heard," said a third. The Supreme Chancellor tried to maintain order. "The Council has protected you for thousands of years. The humans are new, untested, dangerous." A representative from a world called Delvin stood up. "For too long, we've accepted Council rule without question. The humans ask us to question, to think for ourselves." "This is rebellion," the Chancellor said coldly. The Delvin representative nodded. "Yes, perhaps it is time." Reports were coming in from across Council space. On 7 worlds, citizens were protesting against Council rule. They carried signs with Earth symbols. They sang Earth songs about freedom. They demanded the right to trade directly with humans. The Council had always crushed such protests before, but now, with human ships protecting these worlds, the Council's military was hesitant to act. In a secure room on Earth, Admiral Carter read the reports with satisfaction. Everything was going according to plan. 5 years of careful preparation were paying off. "Sir," said Lieutenant Kelly Brown, "we've detected a large council fleet gathering near Sector 7. They appear to be planning a direct assault on one of our trading posts." Carter nodded. "They had to try eventually. Contact Commander Susan Hill. Tell her to prepare the demonstration." The Council had never seen Earth's true military power. They were about to. On the Council world of Proxus, young aliens were gathering in secret to watch Earth broadcasts. They wore clothes in Earth styles. They used Earth slang. They whispered about Earth ideas of freedom and rights. "My parents say the Council keeps us safe," said one young Proxian, a furry being with 6 limbs. "Safe, but not free," replied another. "The humans show us we can be both." A third Proxian held up a small device. "I got this from the human trading post. It connects directly to Earth's information network. We can learn anything we want, not just what the Council allows us to know." The young aliens gathered around, eager to see. For their entire lives, they had been told what to think. Now they could decide for themselves. On Galactus Prime, the Supreme Chancellor viewed the latest reports with growing dread. The Council's propaganda campaign against humans was failing. No one believed their warnings anymore. "Sir," said an aide, "the human Professor Bennett is broadcasting again. Viewership is at record levels." On screens across the galaxy, Professor George Bennett spoke about human history, about how humans had overcome their own struggles for power and control to build a society based on freedom and respect. "We don't claim to be perfect," he said to his audience of trillions. "Humans have made many mistakes, but we've learned from them. Now we offer the galaxy what we've learned, that every being deserves dignity, freedom, and choice." It was a simple message, but to species that had lived under Council control for thousands of years, it was revolutionary. The Council had always maintained control through superior technology, military power, and strict information control. Now humans had challenged all three at once, and Phase 2 was just beginning. The Council war room was filled with tension. On the large screen, a fleet of 20 Council warships moved toward the human outpost on Proxima Centauri IV. It was the biggest military force the Council had sent anywhere in 100 years. "The humans have gone too far," said General Thrix. "This show of force will remind them, and the galaxy, who truly rules here." The Supreme Chancellor nodded. "The humans have clever tricks, but they cannot match our military might. Once this outpost is destroyed, other worlds will think twice about siding with Earth." On the bridge of the Earth Defense Force ship Guardian, Commander Susan Hill watched the Council fleet approach. She was calm despite being outnumbered 10-1. "Are the systems ready?" she asked her weapons officer. "Yes, Commander," he replied. "All ships report ready." Susan had been waiting for this moment. The Council needed to learn that humans were not to be underestimated, not just in trade or technology, but in warfare too. "Begin the demonstration," she ordered. From the Guardian and the other Earth ships, small objects launched into space. They looked like simple metal balls, each about the size of a fist. They moved quickly toward the Council fleet. On the lead Council ship, an alarm sounded. "Unknown objects approaching," reported an officer. "Destroy them," ordered the Council commander. The Council ships fired their weapons. Energy beams shot through space, but the small metal balls moved too quickly, dodging the blasts with ease. "Impossible," said the Council commander. "Nothing can move like that." The metal balls reached the Council fleet. Instead of exploding or attacking, they attached themselves to the hulls of the ships. Then they began to pulse with a soft blue light. On the bridge of the lead Council ship, systems began to shut down. "We're losing power," reported a panicked officer. "Weapons offline. Engines offline. Life support switching to emergency power." All across the Council fleet, the same thing was happening. Within minutes, 20 powerful warships were floating helplessly in space, unable to move or fight. "What have they done to us?" asked the Council commander. From the Guardian, Commander Susan Hill sent a message to the disabled fleet. Her face appeared on their screens. "This is Commander Susan Hill of Earth," she said. "We have temporarily disabled your ship's systems. Your life support will continue to function. Your crews are in no danger." The Council commander was furious. "This is an act of war. The Council will—" Susan cut him off. "The Council will do nothing. You came here to destroy our outpost and kill our people. We stopped you without firing a single shot or harming a single being. Think about what that means." She ended the transmission. On the Guardian, her crew looked at her with respect. The demonstration had worked perfectly. "Send word to Earth Command," Susan ordered. "Phase 3 is complete." On Earth, Admiral Carter received the news with satisfaction. The Council had finally made their military move, and humans had shown them how outmatched they truly were. "It's time," he said to his staff. "Send the message to all Earth ships. Then open a direct channel to the Supreme Chancellor." Across the galaxy, Earth ships received the same message: begin final phase. On Galactus Prime, the Supreme Chancellor was in the middle of a heated council meeting when the message came through. The face of Admiral John Carter appeared on the main screen. "Supreme Chancellor," said Carter, "I think it's time we talked." The council hall went silent. The Chancellor struggled to maintain his dignity in the face of this unprecedented situation. "Admiral," he said coldly, "your actions are a violation of Council law. Your ships have trespassed in Council space. Your traders have ignored Council regulations. Your broadcasts have incited rebellion." Carter nodded. "Yes, they have. And what have you done about it?" "Nothing, because you can't. Your ships can't catch us. Your weapons can't harm us. Your propaganda can't stop us." The Chancellor's four hands clenched in anger. "What do you want?" "The same thing we wanted 5 years ago, when we first met," said Carter. "Equal treatment, fair trade, respect for all species, not just the oldest or strongest." "Impossible," said the Chancellor. "The Council has ruled for 10,000 years. We will not change our ways for newcomers." Carter smiled. "Look around you, Chancellor. Change has already begun. 7 of your member worlds have announced they're leaving the Council. 12 more are considering it. Your citizens are questioning your rule for the first time in centuries." The Chancellor looked around the Council hall. Many seats were empty now. Representatives had returned to their homeworlds to deal with growing unrest. "We wanted peaceful cooperation as equals," continued Carter. "You wanted subservient new members. We rejected your terms and now offer our own. Recognize human sovereignty and the right of all species to fair treatment, or watch your Council dissolve as your members realize they have better options." The message was clear. The humans didn't need to attack the Council directly. They just needed to offer a better choice. "You have 3 days to decide," said Carter before ending the transmission. The Council hall erupted in arguments. Some demanded immediate military action against Earth. Others suggested accepting the human terms. Still others were already making plans to leave the Council and seek direct alliance with humans. The Supreme Chancellor sat silently, watching thousands of years of control slipping away. The humans had accomplished in days what no other species had managed in millennia. They had given the galaxy a choice. Admiral John Carter looked out the large window at Space Station Freedom. The sleek alien ships were leaving Earth's orbit. Their strange shapes glowed against the blackness of space as they moved away. 5 years of talks with the Galactic Council had just ended. Earth had said no to joining them. Carter rubbed his tired eyes. He was a tall man with gray hair at his temples. His blue uniform showed many medals from his years of service. The last meeting had been hard. The aliens from the Council, especially the green-skinned Viridians, had been rude as usual. "You humans are simply not ready," the Viridian ambassador had said in that high, whistling voice they all had. "Perhaps in another 100 years, you might be worthy of junior membership." Carter had simply stood up and ended the meeting. Earth respectfully withdraws from all negotiations, he had said. The shocked faces of the aliens almost made the 5 years of frustration worth it. Now he watched as the main Viridian ship activated its engines. A blue light surrounded it, and then it vanished into hyperspace. The others followed one by one. "Sir, they've all gone," said Lieutenant Kelly Brown from her station at the monitoring screens. She was young but smart, with short brown hair and quick eyes that missed nothing. "Good," Carter said. "Send the signal to all stations. Code phrase: Independence." Kelly pressed a series of buttons. "Signal sent, Admiral." Carter nodded and walked to the large table in the center of the room. He pressed a button, and a 3D map of the galaxy appeared above the table. Tiny dots of light showed the positions of all known planets in the Galactic Council. "Begin Operation Independence," he said to the room of officers who had now gathered around the table. "Phase 1 starts now." Captain Sam Miller stepped forward. He was Carter's second-in-command, a solid man with a serious face. "All ships are in position, Admiral. Just waiting for your final order." Carter looked around at the faces of the men and women in the room. For 5 years, they had smiled and nodded at the council representatives. They had acted interested in joining. They had seemed impressed by the alien technology. But all that time, they had been watching, learning, studying. "The council thinks we're just primitive humans," Carter said. "They think we want their approval. They think we need them." He smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "Let's show them how wrong they are." He pressed another button on the table. A secure line opened to the President of Earth. "Madam President, the council ships have left our system. We're ready to begin." The President's face appeared on the screen. "Are you certain this is the right move, John? Once we start this, there's no going back." Carter nodded firmly. "The council has treated us like children for 5 years. They never intended to let us join as equals. You've seen the reports. They just wanted our resources and another planet to control." The President was quiet for a moment, then she nodded. "Proceed with the operation, Admiral." Carter ended the call and looked at his team. "Send word to all Earth ships. Operation Independence is a go." Around the room, officers began sending messages to Earth ships that had been hiding near key Council worlds. Ships that the Council knew nothing about. Ships with technology the humans had developed by studying the Council's own systems and improving them. "How long until the Council realizes what we're doing?" Kelly asked. Miller checked his watch. "I'd say about 12 hours before the panic begins." Carter looked back at the stars outside the window. "The Council has existed for 10,000 years. In all that time, they've looked down on younger species. They think they know everything." He smiled again. "But they've never met humans before." The team returned to their stations. Across the galaxy, Earth ships began to move. The Council had ended talks thinking Earth had failed. They would soon learn that humans were just getting started. 1 year had passed since Earth ended talks with the Galactic Council. The changes across the galaxy were greater than anyone could have imagined. The former Council headquarters on Galactus Prime had been transformed. Where once only the oldest and most powerful species could enter, now beings from across the galaxy walked freely. The building was now the central hub of the interstellar cooperative. In the main chamber, a meeting was underway. Representatives from 93 worlds sat together. Some were former Council members. Others were from worlds the Council had ignored or exploited for centuries. At the center of the room stood a human woman, Dr. Linda Morrison. She was presenting the latest human medical technology that would be shared with all cooperative worlds. "This treatment can cure diseases that have troubled many of your worlds for generations," she explained. "We've already begun production centers on 12 planets, so everyone can access it easily." The alien representatives looked amazed. Under Council rule, advanced medicine had been given only to the most important worlds. Humans shared it with everyone. Outside the chamber, Ambassador Ryan Foster watched the presentation with pride. In 1 year, Human innovations had changed life across cooperative worlds. Travel was faster. Medicine was better. Energy was cleaner. Most importantly, people were free to make their own choices. "Quite a change from a year ago," said a voice behind him. Ryan turned to see the former Supreme Chancellor of the Council. The old Viridian looked smaller somehow, less imposing than he once had. "Yes," agreed Ryan. "A good change, I think." The former Chancellor nodded slowly. "Perhaps. The remaining Council worlds have finally asked to join the cooperative. Our old ways could not compete with what you've built." This was big news. The last holdouts of the old Council were giving in. The transformation of the galaxy was nearly complete. In orbit above Galactus Prime, the Joint Defense Fleet patrolled. Ships from 20 different worlds flew together, protecting the cooperative. In the lead was the Earth Vessel Defender, commanded by Captain Frank Martinez. "Status report," Frank asked his second officer. "All quiet, sir," she replied. "The 7 remaining Council ships have been tracked entering the neutral zone as agreed. They're coming in peacefully." Frank nodded. This was the final step. The last Council worlds accepting the new reality. Back on Earth, Admiral John Carter sat in his office, reviewing the final reports. On his screen, he could see live feeds from across the galaxy. Cooperative trading posts flourishing. New medical centers saving lives. Schools teaching students from different worlds to work together. His assistant entered with one last report. "Sir, the final Council worlds have officially requested to join the cooperative. It's done." Carter smiled. "Thank you, Kelly." When she left, Carter sat back in his chair. He thought about the day, 1 year ago, when Earth had ended talks with the Council. At the time, many humans had been disappointed. They had wanted to join the galactic community. Instead, they had transformed it. Carter opened his desk drawer and took out a small recording device. It contained his personal log from 5 years ago, when humans first met the Council. "First contact with the Galactic Council," his younger voice said. "They're advanced but set in their ways. They see us as primitive, unworthy of equal treatment. We have 2 choices: accept their terms and become second-class members of their galaxy, or show them what humans are really capable of. I believe the second option is better for humanity and the galaxy as a whole. It will take patience. We'll need to hide our true capabilities while learning everything we can about them. But when the time is right, we'll show them that humanity deserves respect." That patience had paid off. The Council's greatest mistake had been thinking that humanity's desire to join meant desperation. They never understood that humans were studying them, finding their weaknesses, preparing for the moment when Earth would chart its own path. On a view screen in Carter's office, a live broadcast showed the ceremony as the final former Council worlds joined the cooperative. Beings of all shapes and sizes stood together, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. Humanity's strategic patience had accomplished in 18 months what might have taken centuries of conventional diplomacy. Earth hadn't just joined the galactic community, they had transformed it. "Admiral," said his computer, "you have a scheduled call with the cooperative leadership in 5 minutes." Carter nodded. There was still much work to do. The galaxy was vast, with many challenges ahead. But for the first time in 10,000 years, those challenges would be faced by species working together as equals. On planets across what had once been Council space, people looked up at their skies with new hope. The old order of control and fear was gone. A new era of cooperation and respect had begun, and it had all started because Earth had ended talks. In history classes across the galaxy, students would learn about this moment for generations to come. They would learn how humans, rather than accepting second-class status, had found a better way forward. The Council's assumption that ending talks meant giving up had been their fatal error. For humans, ending unproductive talks didn't mean surrender. It meant finding a better path. As Carter prepared for his meeting, he thought about how far they had come. From a single planet, new to the galactic scene, to the architects of a new galactic order in just 6 years. The Council had panicked when Earth ended talks because, deep down, they had sensed the truth. Humans would not be controlled. Humans would find another way. And now the entire galaxy was better for it.